Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
Well, I wake up some dream I made up. No, I guess it's out of date. What will change?
Trying to think of who this is, Tone.
Blur?
No. Dan, you got any? No.
I forget.
Two bands that I actually like that you mentioned. I really like Filter.
I know the
it is
song.
one word.
It takes me back to high school, kind of, a little bit after. Toxic or
No. Tonic? Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, I was going to say
No, it's not Tonic.
Some of those.
It is one word. It is a cleaning product.
Lysol.
No, Lysol.
They
broke
rock.
up.
Oh,
They
they
broke
did. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Lysol. It's a cleaning product.
Cleaning
Sometimes
product.
people use one.
The band
to
you know.
wash dishes. Some
Clean.
people might use a sponge.
Oh, sponge or sponge-worthy as
Dan's
Seinfeld.
browser preventing recording.
I
again.
see that.
Here we
What
go.
What's with
the
my
shit?
browser?
Buckle in, boys.
Yeah, and okay, so last time when we screwed
All right.
around with it, right? We're not going to touch anything.
No.
Am I wrong?
Do you want me to dip out and try to come back?
It just no, I don't. Last time you did that, didn't that fuck everything up?
I don't know.
I don't know either. This is really annoying, but
Maybe a
Right.
Chrome
I'm going to say
update.
I'm going to say this is a total joke, Chris. So get ready for the rim shot. Let's get it fixed like the Super Bowl, and I do not believe the Super Bowl is fixed. So I just want to say that I've seen it all over the place. So I had to shoot that reference out. Thank you very much.
And
I
I
come
didn't-
here on
I
Tuesday.
didn't know people were
Thursdays.
saying that this game was especially fixed. I don't know.
The people. First off, we're the Uncle Puckers, Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby will be with us later. We're just Tony, Dan. I'm Chris. We're going to actually do a little bit of the show before the Devils take on the Kraken, and somebody's dog's
We'll
joining
let the
us.
dogs out.
So we. What was the question? What did you ask? Oh, the Super Bowl. These people that think that this stuff is fixed. I mean, seriously, there's just nothing that you can say to that kind of stupidity. But what a friggin' game, man! My goodness, what a good football game that was. And I just sat there last night, and I look over at my wife, and I'm like, "Hun, at some point before I'm dead, me and you will be sitting here and we'll be watching the Vikings in this game. At some point in my life, I have
At
to,
least you
right?
can say that.
I have to see them once, at least, right?
But Chris, I have a question since you're a football guy like me, because I'll admit I hate the Chiefs. Everybody knows this. I can't stand to see them win. I know
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Well, you're
is
a Raider
badass.
fan.
I'm a
You're
Raider
supposed
fan. They
to
won on
hate
our
the
field.
Chiefs.
It's disgusting. But this halftime show, and I'm not even going to talk about the performance because that's not my thing. But do you think that it kills the team's momentum having to sit in that fucking locker room for 45 minutes? Like, especially when you're playing a guy like Mahomes or a Tom Brady back in the day, you're giving these guys extra time to put shit back together again.
I don't know. I don't know how much
I think it's awful.
I don't know. I mean, that to me doesn't in any way I don't think that's an issue. I think.
But say
these
the
guys,
Vikings are riding, right? The Vikings are rolling. I mean, they're up. Say it's 14-0, whatever. 21.
It doesn't look if they have to sit for an extra 20 minutes because of a halftime show and they can't come back and pick up where they left off, then that's on them, man. I'm not going to blame Usher on that one. I'll tell you who I thought was awesome in the halftime show was her. She came out with the guitar. I'm like, wow, it's like Prince reincarnated over here, man. She killed it.
She had
Were they
kiss,
really
kiss
playing?
boots on. She had kiss
Were they
boots.
really, were
Yeah.
they really playing, or was it all like?
I mean,
fake,
I think she was
tracks?
playing.
I thought
I think it was
supposedly
live.
she or her is known as a good guitarist, but I don't know
Yeah,
anything about
she's
it.
very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. And then, but the game itself, I mean, just one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. And it just goes to show you, like, you know, the preparation that Andy Reid does, and having a guy like Mahomes makes all the difference in the world. I mean, to have a guy like when they went out and got Mahomes, I remember so many Chief fans, why are we trading up? Why are we getting this guy? We have Alex Smith. We have, you know, Alex Smith got you a couple of times the divisional round. You know, you didn't really go over the hump. And Andy Reid had a very good quarterback, but knew if we are going to make it to the next level, we need a elite quarterback, and went out and got Mahomes. And look at what's happened since.
Does Reid come back?
What?
Does Reid come back, you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's
What
not
did you
going
think about
anywhere.
that Kelsey yelling at him on the sidelines, which seems to be the big story of.
I mean, first of all, I don't think it's a big deal. I think people only took it as a big deal because he caught Andy Reid off guard and he almost fell. But I mean, they're family, and you have to look at it like that. You know, if with the three of us are, you know, I mean, hell, we played hockey together and shit. I'd scream at everybody, gets screamed at. You know, it's like you're a competitive person, especially at that, you know, that moment in a Super Bowl. Like, I'm fine with that. You know, he came right over afterwards and gave him a hug and said how sorry he was. He didn't mean to almost knock him over. He was fired up. I want to see that in my players.
I mean, like I said, I do hate Kansas City, but goddamn, Holmes is a hell of a quarterback, and I'll even admit that 100%. And there's a reason why I always say there's a reason why you hate somebody is because they're good. You don't really worry about the ones who aren't good.
No.
And I don't even, you know, and I've been bitching. I'll admit, like, even on my other show, I've been bitching about the Swift thing, but you know what? It's not even her fault, man. It's just the media's fault for doing what that is, but, you know, making it a big thing, but it's not really her fault. I have been like, you know, like, oh, I can't stand this and that, but reality wise, hey, they're a good team. You know, I mean, San Francisco made the mistakes to lose that game. You know, and so.
Yeah, and that's it. San Francisco made a couple of mistakes, you know, and it was just some luck either way. You know, the kickoff that hit the player in the leg, the special teams play, that was just, you know, it was a short kick and you got burned on it. Then you have my issue was, if I really was going to make a complaint on this game, and I haven't heard anybody really complain about this, but when they took the ball, when San Francisco took the ball, it's saying the same fucking thing, Dan. So just roll with this.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not, you know, who gives a shit? And last time it was recording, so I don't know what the issue is. So
yeah,
but so to get to overtime, Kansas City loses. San Francisco wins the coin toss and they accept, and they get down to like whatever they were in the red zone, was like 4th and 2 or whatever, right? And they kicked the field goal. I would have gone for the touchdown there. I would have gone for the touchdown there. And it's the fucking Super Bowl. And, you know, if you kick a field goal and then you kick off and it goes through the end zone, you're giving Patrick Mahomes 75 yards he has to go. If you don't make it on 4th and 2, and you still could have gotten a first down, if you don't make it on that 4th down play, he has to go 90, 92 yards, whatever it is. You know, I'd rather do that. And I understand that a field goal beats you at that point. But I think you have to go for the kill.
Well, if you get a field goal and a touchdown beats you, it's the same difference.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, what surprised me was that San Francisco, they say, I was reading this today, which is amazing.
They didn't know
to
the
me
rules?
that they didn't know the rules.
Yeah. They did just change the overtime rules. So for the Super Bowl.
This is their job.
But if you
stage.
juxtapose that with what Patrick Mahomes was saying the entire time post-game I was getting sick of hearing about these overtime rules because Andy Reid and the coaching staff were drilling it into them every single practice. This is how the overtime rules are. Well, it really seemed to help Kansas City and hurt San Fran because I don't know if San Fran takes that kickoff if they really understand the rules. I mean, in that overtime situation, you want to be you want to get the ball second. You know, you need to know because now, you know, with Kansas City now, they know after that field goal, we have to score a touchdown or the game's over. And we lose the Super Bowl, which means your play calling changes because you're not going 3rd down and things like you're going, everything's 4th down. You're going 4 downs. You're going to make them stop you and you're just going to keep going. So you can open up your playbook and do a lot of different things. And then it comes down to the same friggin' play that they beat Philadelphia in last year.
I was just surprised they didn't know it. I was like, how did you not know that?
It's just such a well-designed play. And that motion when Michael Hardum, or whatever his name is, scored the touchdown. Just they get lost in that when they put them in motion and they think that they're running across, and the DB just gives a look and thinking, okay, somebody else is going to pick them up, and then they sneak back out and they're wide open. Sky Moore hit it last year. McCall Hardman hit it this year, and there was another player last year. I think it was maybe Pacheco that got it last year on the same play. But they're just a damn good football team.
Vegas was busy last night. I'm sure the hookers made a lot of money. It was a kicking evening.
But from one amazing football game, I think we need to touch on before the Devils take on the Kraken in about 15 minutes. That game against Carolina on Saturday. What?
You want to say Hartford, didn't you?
Dude, first of all, that was awesome just watching them in the whale uniform.
Great. Love them.
Dan, you were this close, dude.
I know, that's
so
really close.
You know
what? Dan, do you know the last goalie to shut out the Hartford Whalers? I actually looked this up while we were watching the game because I thought you were going to get this point.
Was it Marty? I don't know.
Wait,
Patrick Waugh.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I have to guess.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Chris. Yeah,
I was going to go Darren Poopa.
Oh, all right.
Poopa. I watched Poopa play a lot. Patrick Waugh, the Devils, in their last season, which was 97. The Devils actually shut them out twice that season. So I was, I was looking at all this stuff because I was like, oh, Dan's going to get his shutout this weekend,
man.
Because of the jersey,
so close.
It's very close. I was even more upset that I actually missed that game. I had plans, and of all the games this year, that was like the best game.
Chris said it was the best game of the year so far.
It was. It was so good. Vanacek was amazing. Both goalies, Kochikov was amazing, and it was a fun game. And I was so bummed I didn't see that live. I was like, wow.
I let Chris know before we started that, Vanacek's out. He's hurt now, I guess, lower body injury, and he's sick tonight. So they got an E-bug in tonight. So it's Dawes as the starter. They called up Schmid today.
And Dan Martin as the backup, which you have about 15 minutes to get up there, Dave.
Exactly.
So you better get going.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I'll tell you, that's look, right now I think, and we'll talk a little bit about the Kraken game and stuff, and we're going to, we'll talk while that game's on, but and I said this to Tone, and if they play the rest of this season the way they played against Carolina, they're going to win a hell of a lot more games than they're going to lose.
Oh yeah,
and it was just, that was a playoff game, man.
It was great defensive effort too. Everybody was coming back on the play and pitching. I was really impressed by that.
Ball had a good game. You remember he was a big dude. He was,
he was hitting, and that's something that we even brought up in the show prior. That Bobby had asked, like, would you put Ball in a package? And Dan and I both were saying, like, if he doesn't start using that giant frame of his, he's just another guy back there. Like, what are you going to do that's going to make you different, make you stand out? You're 6'6", 6'7". Start laying the body, and he did. And the whole team, I thought, played amazing.
Yeah,
you know who I think doesn't get enough credit is fucking Lazar. Like, I really like this guy is really a force out there. Yeah,
and he's so consistent. He's very consistent.
I mean, he's a tool that we added that really. I think we're all tools. But
I wonder if they listened to our show though. They really responded. Everything we were knocking them for on the previous game, they really responded. Vanacek,
it had to be that, right?
I think that was like,
makes sense.
Guys, I want to let you know how bad this is. Listen to these four assholes, and they're not even wrong. Yeah. So,
well, we got the Kraken tonight. I'm not even sure how they're doing, how they've been doing, but I know that they're like right around playoff picture. But this is going to be a big one. You have a back-to-back coming up. The Nashville Predators have given us fits since,
we always have
I could remember. So, a tough week, big schedule, tough schedule coming up. This is going to be, this is the time, man. Do it. But I was really hoping that Vanacek would be in net tonight. Holy shit, did I just fucking say that? I was hoping Vanacek would be in net tonight.
Right? Well, after that game, I don't blame you.
Hey, it's Bobby.
And I was
Bobby.
Hey, Dan, I was talking to Chris also about this before the show. Is that Vanacek? You think about it. If you had Markstrom to say, which you have Vanacek as a backup, I feel okay with that. Like I really do, man. Vanacek's a guy who can win you some games. Maybe he shouldn't have the majority of the, the load or whatever you want to say, but
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Markstrom, but that would be not such a bad
Speaking of loads, there's Bobby.
All right, so we have we have our predictions. We can do our accountability session before the Kraken game. Line combinations for tonight: Palat, Heischer, Bratt, Hughes, Holla, Toffoli, Timo, Meyer, Curtis Lazar, Dawson, Mercer on the third, Alexander Holtz, Thomas Nosek, Nate Bastian. No change on the forward line from the game on Saturday. Defensive matchups, we have Ball and Nemec, Hughes, Marino, Hataka, and Miller. So no change other than goaltending. Looks like Nico Dawes is getting the start tonight, and forward Max Willman has been assigned to Utica to make room for Brendan Smith, who should be back in the lineup hopefully tomorrow.
And
so
Schmidt is up.
that's all right. Accountability session, boys. Tony's kicking our asses. It is the week of Colorado, Calgary, and Carolina. It is the Big C week, and we'll start with. Let's go with Bobby. We'll start with your predictions. Bobby said that the Devils will go 1-1 at home this week. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay.
That is correct, Robert.
I think that's about it.
And you said that Jack will be a point or more this week. He is not. You were wrong. And your final prediction was that the Devils will score a power play goal on the same power play that they give up a shorthanded goal.
Just
And
wait for
that
the fences
was
yeah.
all right. Then we'll go with Dan. Dan said that one game will have less than 15,500 people occupancy.
Such a weird bet.
The game against the Avalanche was a attendance of 16,326. The home game against the Flames, attendance was 16,374. And Carolina was 18,997. So
Yeah, that's no good.
good attendances all around. You said that the Devils would get a shutout, and you were an ass hair away.
So close.
My goodness.
In regulation. I think I said in regulation, didn't I? Didn't
No.
I wonder if you're
I?
going to try to throw that
But-
shit out of the stands.
Nah, never.
But, I mean, listen, they're getting closer, right?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, that was great.
And then you said that if the Devils lose a game, it will be by 1 goal.
There we go. That's a point.
That's a point. You're right.
You got a
I
point
got confused there. All right. Tony, you said that Jack Hughes will return and score a goal. You were wrong. You said that the Devils would go 2 out of 3, and the loss will be in overtime. Tony, I misread this. I thought you got that right. You got it wrong.
Wrong.
Because I just thought
It
that
was a
you
2
said
out of
that
3.
Two out of
Overtime
3
loss.
that got you.
That was a good call. Overtime
And I got
loss.
a bad beat. I got a bad beat this week too. So you were wrong. So actually, I got to take off 3 points for you because I thought you got that right. And then you said that the Devils will not get a shutout and that they will give up 2 or more goals in
Wrong
every
again.
game. And you were wrong.
See, you're tying like 2 bets together.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was parlaying and trying to get the hat trick. I said that Jack will have 3 or more points against the Hurricanes. Nobody had 3 or more points against either team. I said that Jacob Markstrom will allow 1 or less goals. It looked pretty good for a while, and then the Devils kind of figured him out in the third. And this was my bad beat. I said that the Devils will beat the – I thought I was wrong. I said the Devils will beat the Avs in overtime. I thought I had the Canes in overtime, and the game winner would be by Timo. So I was wrong. So the only one to get a point this week was Dan and Bobby.
Right.
Which
We
Dan,
rock. We won a week,
not-
Bob.
The 3 that
harder.
I just gave to Tony, I got to take away.
Give them
And
to
I
me
give
and Bob.
Bobby 1, and Dan has his. So right now, Dan is in the lead with
No,
14
it's not
points.
possible.
No, you're right. No, you are.
I was more than a point behind Tony.
Tony
Was it?
has 11 points. You have 14.
Oh,
Right
okay.
Nice, Dan.
I
Dan,
don't
Tony
even know
has
that
11.
happened. Oh, did I
Bobby-
get 3 points on that bet? Is that what
No,
that was?
you just got 1.
Oh, shit. Okay, all right. I'll take it.
Bobby has
thought you had
10
like
points, and I am still at 7. So let's move away to this week's games. Big week. We have tonight at home against the Seattle Kraken. Then we go on the road tomorrow to play the Predators, and then we're back home Thursday against the Kings. And Saturday is the big stadium series at MetLife Stadium against the Philadelphia Flyers. So we will start with Tony. Your first prediction for this coming week, sir.
The Devils will score 4 goals tonight. Against the
Exactly?
Kraken. Over 4 or over.
4
I would
or
say.
more. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it under the wire.
There
Just
you
about
go.
to start.
That's right. I am in the
more
future by 7 hours, but not
against-
that much.
Yeah.
What's the score?
Tony, I think you might want to seriously think about coming back here soon.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying. I was watching the news a little bit earlier, and they were talking about, not that we're a political show, but I was just in the background.
Comments by
talking about his comments that Trump made about NATO, and somebody actually said, "What's going to stop Putin at that point to go into Lithuania?" And I was like,
somebody said,
"Tony will stop him.
Tony will do it.
Exactly. We'll be gone. We'll be gone. It's just so funny, and I guess we really fast. I don't know if we've talked, but I did want to mention this before the show. Even I hear a lot of people being like, "Oh, Russia should be able to do this." Like I'm talking hockey wise, they should be able to do this and this. And the players shouldn't be held accountable for their leader. And I get that, but let's face it, Putin's a piece of shit. And anybody who thinks he's not, like I think Tucker Carlson went over there and fucking interviewed him.
Sure
what
did.
the hell is that bullshit? Spreading his propaganda. I mean, it's such a sickening thing. But
I couldn't agree with you more. Bobby, your first prediction.
I'm going to go with Timo Meyer's going to give us at least 3 points this week. He's got 4 games.
That's almost worth a hat trick the way it's going.
I know.
This week. Daniel?
We got the 3 games, right?
4. Kraken, Predators,
4.
Kings, Flyers.
Devils will be at least 500 at the end of this. They will win 2 or more games.
2 or more wins. I have a somewhat kind of like on that same track. But my first one is that Jack will lead. Jack will be the point leader in the Stadium Series game for both teams. It'll be Jack Hughes, more points than any Philadelphia Flyer or any other Devil.
I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
All right. So, Tony, your second prediction.
Hughes will score, I'm going to say 2 goals in the next 4 games. I'm going to say exactly just because, it's kind of like a open prediction. So I'm going to say 2. He's going to say exactly 2 goals.
Oh,
in the next
we'll
4
score
games.
2 goals exactly.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right.
I find it harder to make predictions as we go on because you don't want to make the same shit all the time. It's kind of like you're trying to mix it up. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I don't like doing the same one over and over either.
Here he goes.
So in that theme of trying to mix it up, I'm going outside of the Devils for this one. So Elias Peterson leads the NHL with 10 game-winning goals. With 9 game-winning goals. He'll have 10 by the end of this week.
All right. So Elias Peterson from the Vancouver Canucks will lead league in game-winning goals.
Well, he already does lead it.
Oh, okay. You're saying he'll
get to 10. At least 10.
He'll pick up one or more game-winning goal in the stretch of 4 games.
Or more. Okay, I got you. Okay. So then, Dan, your second prediction.
I'll go with that shutout bet.
Shutout.
Come on. I got 4 tries at it. They're warming up, heating up to it, starting to play defense. I almost feel good about it.
If you don't do it, that's when they're going to do it. The week you don't do it, they're going to get it.
That would be nice.
Could be.
All right, my second prediction is I am feeling so confident after that game against the Hurricanes. The Devils will go 4-0 this week.
That's a hat trick, guys.
The run is
Certainly
starting.
a hat trick.
The run is going to start.
We'll give you 3 for that.
Will win. All right, I'll take that. Tony, your third and final prediction, sir.
By the end of these 4 games, the Devils will pass Philly in the standings because right now it's 62. I think it's 54. It's not going to happen. Never mind. I'm going to take that one back. I read the numbers wrong.
Well, you can revise it and say they'll be within 2 or something.
Yes, I'll go with that one.
Because I looked at that same thing. It makes sense what you're doing.
So you're saying that the Devs will be within 2 points of the Flyers by the end of the week.
If we pick up the 2 against them and then...
That'll make Saturday night's game so much bigger than it already is.
That's what I was kind of trying to get at, and make this the Stadium Series game
of Philly. I like it. All right, Bobby, your third and final prediction.
There will be a Stadium Series fight.
Oh, like on the ice or in the stadium? Okay,
probably both.
I can definitely see the latter.
Yeah,
Stadium Series will have a fight.
Yep.
All right, I like it. And Dan, your third and final prediction, sir.
The Devils will get a hat trick over the course of these 4 games.
Somebody will
some Devil will score the hat trick.
Okay. And my third and final prediction is that the newly acquired Seattle Kraken Tomas Tatar will score a goal against the Devils tonight.
I thought of that.
Nice. So that's my third one. So that's it for the week. We'll see where we're at. We have face-off happening in a couple of minutes. Does everyone have the game on?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go any further with the game starting, give a little shout-out to our DraftKings sponsor here. We know that hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. And this week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets just by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. New customers bet $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved. So, do you guys want to play a game before the game starts?
Sure.
Yeah?
I like games.
I like games too. Let's see. Do I have it? Yes, I do. Do I? Do I? What the hell?
Who wants to place bets if he's got it or not? Let's
I don't know what's wrong with this shit.
It's what you call doing it natural.
Playing a game.
Is it playing?
No, that's it.
Okay, because I don't hear it. What in the shit? Why is this not working now?
See, everyone, this is when you get to hear how it really works behind the
Keep
scenes.
these dollars rolling in.
We
need some new equipment up here.
we really need something. I was thinking about that intern. I think we really need to get one.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
Unbelievable. All right, let's see. Does it work now?
That worked.
Shall we play a game?
Yeah,
Is it playing?
Yes, it is.
All right. Buckle up, boys and girls. It is time for The Devil You Know on the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil Podcast. We could be such a much better podcast if we actually had a little bit of production value.
Just a tad.
It is time for The Devil You Know. Face-Off is about to start. This is the funnest game in hockey podcast history. Today it'll be Dan. He will give clues to a former New Jersey Devil player. Bobby, Tony, and myself have to try and figure out who he's talking about, and we can give him. We can yell out answers. We get three incorrect rather before we are eliminated. We can ask Dan any question we want. He can or cannot answer. It's completely up to him. Former Devil You Knows are Mike Dunham, Paul Martin, Kevin Dean, Jason Arnott, Bryce Salvador, Nick Palmieri, and a few others. So the action is to you, Dan, whenever you are ready. Dan, you're on mute.
We cannot win that one.
Devil you can't hear.
You'll never guess.
Exactly.
All right. This devil was drafted in the fourth round, 2016 draft.
Fourth round in 2016?
Yeah.
2016.
Okay.
This player played for the 2018 World Junior team and was never charged with any crimes.
That's right, because 2016 would be McLeod on the draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got an entry-level contract from the Devils in 2019.
And
And
Devils draft him?
yeah,
Okay.
and he was drafted, but he didn't get a contract until 2019.
Okay.
And in that time, he played in Europe between an interim.
Okay.
He scored his first goal as a Devil in a 5-2 win over the New York Rangers.
Good for him.
Okay.
And he gets credited as just one complete year with the Devils.
2016?
No, it would be 19,
Draft.
right?
No, draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he a forward or a defenseman?
He's a forward.
Is it Joey Anderson?
No.
Motherfucker.
Give him
Okay.
Good one.
I gave it to him.
Hmm.
Okay, he's a.
Jumping gun.
I gave it to him. He's a forward. Okay, got it.
After his time with the Devils, he was involved in a trade to another team, which I shall not name right now, where he spent 2 more seasons.
Is it Ty Smith?
No, sir.
He wasn't
Okay.
drafted.
Is it a defenseman?
No, it's
No,
a forward.
it's a
He
forward.
said that already, and I still
Oh,
went
just
with
said-
Ty Smith. Shit.
Evan Cormier? No.
Nope. That's 2
Eric?
guesses.
Eric
Yeah, it's 2
Cormier?
guesses.
Yeah. All right. What do you got, Dan?
This player is height and weight listed at 6'3", 198.
Okay.
Probably not going to narrow it down too much with those stats, but after his 2 years with another team, not going to mention right now, he was picked up off of waivers by the Kings, but never played with the club, and that ended his NHL tenure.
He's out of the NHL now.
Yes,
Hmm.
he did spend a couple of years in the minors system with LA, but never made the NHL Kings.
Okay.
And
Okay.
What number? Did you say? What number he was drafted in?
I
Said the
didn't
fourth
say what
round.
number. 4th round, he was 102 overall.
All right. I don't know.
I think I have a
Marino
guess.
down on
but
the
That's going to knock me out.
Marino
Mikhail
what?
Matsov?
Marino's
Oh,
down on the
fuck.
ice. Sorry.
Ah.
Wait.
It's a
This
hard game
isn't
to concentrate
good.
on right now.
Yeah, hang on a sec. And there comes the training staff running out to John Marino. This really is not what we need here.
Oh,
He's
no.
on his knees. You know, he's laboring. Looks like he's in pain. Do we know what happened? Did anyone see it?
I didn't see it. Just looked over. He was on the ice.
I'm delayed by like 10 seconds, so he just got on the ice for me. He's
Okay, well.
Oh, in your world, it's fine for now. Just
Yeah.
give him a warning. He'll avoid
He's up and he's skating off on his own power. A little gingerly, but hopefully he just got like a stinger or the wind knocked out of him. Let's see what happened here. Coming into the boards. He just got his stick. The Kraken got his stick between his legs a little bit. His leg tricked him out, and he went kind of head first into the fucking boards. Ouch. All
not
right.
good.
Well, hopefully, he's not out for 6 to 8 weeks. All right. Next.
Yep. Next.
I had a last guess.
Yes, what was your
Matsov?
guess?
Mikhail Matsov?
Yeah, Maltsev, right? Maltsev.
Yes.
Yep, that is the answer, Tony.
Oh,
Very good.
nice.
Very
I
good.
don't even remember that
I don't.
person.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
no.
He's a short period
Maltsev,
of time
yeah.
traded, yeah.
Yep, and I, the biggest clue I was going to give you was that we got in exchange for him one of Bobby's favorite players from Colorado, Ryan Graves.
Ah.
Still wouldn't have got
Goes
it.
into
How do you spell his name?
M-I-K-E-L, right? Yeah.
M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E?
Well,
How
the
do you
Mikhail
spell-
part, the Mikhail is Mikhail, and then it's Malt.
M-A-L-T-S-E-F?
Yeah, like
S-E-V?
Oh my
malt,
God.
S-E-V, Maltsev.
There's literally no way
Thank
I
you.
was going to retain that name
Thank you.
and win
All
this
right,
particular game.
Maltsev. I got it. All right.
Mikhail
and the winner
Maltsev.
is Tony.
He was
Okay,
pretty
I
recent, too, 2020, 21. He was in that.
Doesn't always
No.
help me.
have no recollection of this person.
No,
I thought Dan was
no.
going to go with I thought Dan was going to go with our. We won't even mention his name player because I was like, well, that would 2016. I was like,
No,
he
we
didn't get
can't-
arrested.
Bobby did that already.
Yeah,
I was convinced it was going to be American that you just threw in some trick because you started off saying he played somewhere else, right? Like overseas or something. So
He did play in
I
Europe.
didn't know if you were just trying to throw off the scent. So I'm here thinking about American.
I had a couple, clues that
got
would
it
have
anyway.
led you to Russia eventually.
All right.
Nice.
Devils
Good one.
are going on a penalty kill, guys. Seattle just took they got a power play. It looks like it was Colin Miller for tripping or holding or something, whatever.
No tripping
So-
call on Marino, though. Huh?
No trip on Marino. And they
All right.
win the face-off, which they do so often, and just clear it right down. They're so good at that
Yeah.
in their defensive zone of just getting that quick draw win, and then they shoot it right down. And their penalty kill has been tremendous this last week.
Yes.
They have to be. I mean, I'm a little worried about the lack of goal scoring right now because we really haven't been lighting it up. But
Right.
I just think the way that they've been playing lately, like they're going to beat more teams than not. So it's just a matter of kind of finding their groove. And I think now that people are back and healthy and they're kind of settling into their spots, it's going to take a couple of games. But I think when they figure it out, they should be fine.
Yeah.
Still
And
gotta go make a
especially
move.
Jack. We get
Yeah.
Jack going. That's going to make up for so much. Timo Meyer ever, really comes alive. Look out.
Yeah.
It really is this like slow build, right? Over the last
Mm-hmm.
week, you see these different peaks where they're just doing something exceptional, and you just kind of wait for it to all come together and just pop. And that's the frustrating part we've been talking about all year. It's like you're sitting there at the edge of your seat waiting, like, is this finally the game? Like that Carolina game that, that showed me a lot, right? So they should be able to
And I like,
use a lot of that.
you struggle for the goals there, and nobody wants to struggle for goals, but I like what they're building. You're going to have a good defensive team in order to go far in the playoffs. It's that simple. So if they can build on that and score too.
Oh, we might have a shorty opportunity here. And nope.
So it looks like I'm 5 seconds in front of Chris.
You're 5 seconds in
I'm
front?
behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
behind a little bit too. Yeah.
All right, so I'm right in the middle. Where are you, Dan? Are you watching it?
No, not down here. I tried to get it on the TV that I can see from here, but it didn't work with the
No.
the Fire Stick is the only thing on this TV.
Oh. There's so much. You just look at the game-winning goal Saturday night. Like, that's
Right.
what it was going to take to beat one of those goalies. And, it was just, what a beautiful goal
That was a
they
sick
had.
goal. Yeah.
And I really thought, like, watching it going later in the third, I really thought the Devils were going to get it.
Oh, yeah.
I really felt like, man, they have the momentum. And when you watch how they play, and it's not just, yes, they were playing great defensively. Marino's back on the ice, so that's good.
Good
But,
news.
not just the way they're playing defensively as far as, getting sticks in lanes and tying people up. Like, they were so aggressive on that forecheck. And I was watching, I'm like, if Jack plays like this, where he's so aggressive and he can just take the puck from you, he's a thief and he just comes and steals. What do you think about putting Jack on a penalty kill every once in a while?
Yeah, it'd be crazy if he gets a chance to, pick pockets and run down to the other end. He'd be sick with that.
I mean, I know that they put Brad out once in a while, which I like, but I just think that Jack has better stick handling skills to be able to kind of steal that puck and maybe take off, or at least make a nice breakout pass for somebody else. I mean, I don't know how much you really want to use him as far as that goes. He's being used in every other situation.
Right.
But, you go and you look at, like, these great players and, who I think I'm almost like 99% sure, like, the Pittsburgh Penguins shorthanded goal leader is Mario Lemieux.
Right.
Like, I think Draisaitl and McDavid also play penalty kill.
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
especially if you're like down a goal, that you need a goal in the third. Like you got a penalty kill to do. Why do you want to give them that opportunity?
Definitely situational, maybe at the tail end of a penalty kill, get them out last 30 seconds or something. It could be something. But, yeah, we do play them a lot, so.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, like, the way that he played and, like, the amount of turnovers that they had against Carolina, who they don't make mistakes. So, I mean, the Devils were just outworking them in a lot of ways. That was just, man, why not? Why not try him on the PK? See what he can do.
Yep.
A delayed penalty, and I believe that we are getting a power play. So we got, let's see.
You can tell we're all on different times watching this because Bobby was like, damn it, like 30
I know, I
seconds
got
ago.
something
And
else.
I was just like, damn it. And I'm like,
Is it us
Bobby's damn it.
Did we get a penalty or Seattle, Bob?
I actually was focusing on the podcast when I went
Okay.
to commercial on this end, so I don't know.
I think it's Seattle, so we should
I'm
be
still
going
in
on.
free
a
game.
I'm glad we're not
soon.
like live doing an actual game because this is hard.
Yeah.
Pucker's
maybe-
on acid.
I think you could do shit like this a little better on like another platform. I don't know, maybe like Twitch or something. And that's something people do because they can sync up what you're watching.
Have you guys ever? I've never
never
used
been
Twitch,
on
have
it.
you guys?
I've never been on it. I've never even seen anything on it. But I just remember hearing somebody on another podcast talking about like Twitch simulcasts and stuff. So I don't know.
That article that was going around about Markstrom saying that he would be okay with coming here.
Yeah.
It's just like, stop and think about when's the last time or ever that a player of any kind of stature was like, I would love to go to New Jersey. Like that never ever comes out of anybody's mouth. And
Wasn't Meyer the last player? Actually, I think that was like that.
He did.
I think that was
yeah,
the
I guess
last
it
guy.
was.
who
I guess it
actually
was
came
just
in.
last year, but meaning
But
this
before
team,
that,
like
exactly.
this incarnation of
Yeah.
the Devils, like you've never had it before.
No.
No, and I don't. Again, it's just a matter of I heard that it was the package was. Let me think. It was Alex
and Vanacek,
Holtz,
I heard.
Vanacek, Hataka, and like a first rounder or something.
Exactly what we said like a week
Yeah,
ago.
I mean, I'd be fine with that.
So, yeah, this is the same
I-
article that's mentioning it seems like the cash considerations are the biggest holdup.
Yeah, I guess Fitz wants Calgary to retain some salary. I don't really know why. The only thing I can think of is there a possibility that maybe Dougie Hamilton is coming back earlier than expected? Why would he want, I mean, unless does he have his mind on a couple of guys he wants to get? And I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it's also his job to, make it as fair as possible for the Devils. And if that's what he sees makes it more fair, he's got to at least
report
follow it.
On NHL Network, I think it was today. They were saying that, I guess, that there was talks between the Devils on the Calgary, but the problem is that the Devils do feel like they want too much, I heard. And that's what I heard today. And I heard one of the reporters actually say that on his report that the asking price was high, and that was pretty much like why it may not get done, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the retention of salary was a big deal, and maybe Tom Fitzgerald can then, get another team to come in and retain some of the salary.
There you go.
But then what are you giving to that team? Now does it also become another first-round pick to Columbus for holding $2 million or whatever it is? I don't know. So, I mean, I think that if I'm Fitz, and I think you have to put your best offer out there right away. Put your best offer out there. If they accept it, because you need to know, are you going to keep trying to work this thing? Or if it really is a dead deal, you got to go and get somebody else. And you have to just switch gears and go after somebody else, because that's the one thing. I don't want to sit there and wait too long focusing on just getting Jacob Markstrom. And the next thing you know, Toronto runs in and throws together a whole big ass package,
or Carolina grabs
or
him.
Carolina, or any other team. So that's the only thing that kind of makes me nervous. Like, if it's a dead deal, move on. Let's not just focus on Markstrom and just whatever. By all means, we have to get him. Like, I felt like last year, that's how it was with Timo. We knew right away. Everyone knew the Devils are interested in Timo Meier. There were a lot of teams, but it was always kind of like the Devils are going to make this deal. Right. Does he feel that same way about Jacob
There
Mark?
was a little bit of a question mark, though. There was a hiccup where people were going, are they going to have to give up Mercer, to get Meyer? And they made it sound like that was really not something that they wanted to do. And that kind of got out publicly. So maybe this is a similar move where, he's telling them, we're not doing this. And the way to look serious with that is to let it out publicly.
Right.
We're not going to do X,
That's
and
true.
then take it or leave it,
And Nemec was a sticking point last year too with the
Right.
San Jose deal. Those are the two names that he was not parting with. So
Right.
And we all said too that if you're going to go for Markstrom, I definitely also think you need to go for a defenseman. So I mean, what are you going to do? How much are you going to if you give up the whole boat to Calgary, or do you kind of I mean,
Simone Nemec just got stopped on a breakaway. Oh,
I haven't got there yet. I see him going down the.
We went. Oh my God! Look at this.
I'm seeing it.
He
now.
went from
Wow,
coast to
move,
coast.
Jesus!
Oh, what a play!
That was a beautiful move, but
Finish that shit, man. Come on. Ah, boy, what a beautiful fucking move.
It's a great move.
End to end.
Nemec, though. No.
He's so good. He's going to be so friggin' good. And, and I think that's like, I'm kind of at the point with, yes, I want something done this year. I want to try and make a move this year, but I've kind of gotten myself to the point of like seeing how good this team is built, and seeing that, in a couple of years, I think they're going to be dominant. I think that this team is going to be there every single year for the next 6 or 7 years, and, fighting for Stanley Cups. So I'm kind of like, okay, like we talked about, like, don't give the house away for this year. I was at first like, no, do it. Now I'm kind of like, whatever. I mean, I feel like they definitely need somebody. I'd love to get a goalie with term. But again, if it comes down to we can't make a deal and it's going to be something better in the long run over the summer, then you do it. I don't think you move heaven and earth right now. What do you guys think about that?
I definitely agree with you, Chris. Go ahead, Dan.
I think that if we were tearing it up this season, it would be like, come on, guys, what are you going to wait for?
Right.
But let's face it, we've struggled, and I do think it's still good to go ahead with a move if the price is right. But because I feel like a lot of that struggle did have to do with injuries, that you got to feel like you've paid your fare when it comes to injuries for the season. Even though it doesn't work that way, you could get bit by the injury bug a few more times. It's not as likely,
Right.
So you feel like, okay, the team is worth investing in this year, but much less so than if they were having the season they were last year.
Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah, any one of these ideas, these trades, you have to look at it from both sides, long term, short term. I feel like you definitely don't want to give away everything this year, like you guys are saying. Which is why, if it is a money issue, I'm curious as to why. You made a good point. Maybe Dougie Hamilton's coming back, or maybe just Fitzgerald is like, no, there's just other moves too that we want to make, and I need that comfortable cap space. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of. I do want something to happen, for sure, but if it's not Markstrom because of the money, then you would think, well, then maybe we can go to someone else and offer more. So, like in that scenario, that package is like, now these are the players I'm going to give you, and then it's got to be the money. But maybe for another goaltender that we're not even discussing, there's something else brewing that maybe it is an additional player, but not the money. And that, in Fitzgerald's eyes, will give him, more room to maneuver down the lane. It's very fluid, so it's hard to know, but.
And look, a good general manager, which we know Tom Fitzgerald is, he's not just working the Calgary phones. He's working. He's got a few phones working, and a few teams that are on the hook right now that he's talking to. Which, I as much as I said what I said, how I feel about this season, I still believe though that they could go on a run this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think that you have to, if you're going to do something, and we've said this a million times, it's got to get done soon.
Right. You know what I would hate for us to have every game as good as that Kraken, as good as that Carolina game that way, and they just come up just a little bit short the whole rest of the season, knowing that wait a second, they've been playing lights out good. They just needed that couple extra moves.
It's such an excellent point. Can you imagine you're the general manager and you're really close to pulling the trigger, and you got the game Vitek played 2 games before. Right, and then you got the game last, and you're right about to make trade. Like, holy shit, this guy played great.
I know.
Let me just give him another couple of days. And I mean, it's been so long in this season. I doubt that these highlight games are going to prove to be the norm for the rest of the way. But I can certainly see in a management position where you're making big moves that have consequences for years, where you, as Lou Lamoriello would say, when you have time, you use it. You know what I mean? The question here is, how much time do we really have?
Right.
That Carolina game,
do have time.
That Carolina game does not change my equation on the goaltender situation, because as good as Vitek played, the inconsistency is part of the story. Nobody said he wasn't amazing at times. He was amazing at times. It's just that he can't give you that consistently. I think we know this by now. There's no reason.
Bothered, Dan, by a Markstrom Vanacek, Vanacek backup? I mean, because I
wouldn't be bothered as a backup. He doesn't, as long as he doesn't have to carry the lion's share of workload. Vanacek is a good backup to have in your system. Absolutely.
And he's a guy
are there better ones? Maybe. But you worry about with the backup is your goaltender goes down for the season. Now he's your backup. He's got to play every night or every other night. That's a problem.
But I want Markstrom. I don't want a Gibson. That's the thing with I really like we're talking about giving away the farm, Chris. And the thing is, a guy like Markstrom, yeah, I think that's a hell of a thing for this team. Gigantic.
He's going to get much better consistency.
I don't believe I don't know if it's much better than having Vanacek in there. Gibson Vanacek every night. I'm not sold on that kind of goal.
I was never on the Gibson train either.
No, neither was I. I
didn't feel right.
I do believe, Tony, that Vanacek would probably be served better as a backup. I really do at this point. But to me, I go back to Merzlikins. I think he'd be great on this team. I'd be okay with the Merzlikins move. I'd be super over the moon if it was Markstrom. But other than that, I mean, who else is really, like you said, are you going to give up a lot for Jake Allen? We don't want Jake Allen. I don't want John Gibson. And especially if maybe you are looking ahead a year or two, and you're seeing what guys are coming out that might be free agents in a year or two.
Shesterkin or who knows?
Yeah, that the Devils might be able to make a move on. Does Shesterkin sign an extension next year, or does he say, I'm going to wait and see how things go in free agency? There's a guy that if you have Markstrom for 2 years after this year, and that's then if you have a guy like Shesterkin, you can always move on from Markstrom and sign your big guy for a good 5-6 year deal and go try and win some cups. Or Markstrom comes in and he plays lights out and this team wins with him. I mean, I just think something's got to get done with the goalie situation, no doubt. And I don't want a stopgap. Go get a guy, and if it's Markstrom, at least we know we have him for 2 more years. And then if you decide that, like you said, is there a guy like Olmark or Shesterkin or somebody coming out in a couple of years that, you might want to go and make a move on.
And as good as Vanacek played, he got hurt as a result too. So you're just not going to get the consistency, whether it's now injury or just coming out not having a great game. 1 out of 3 times, 1 out of,
And if
2 out of 4 even.
do we know anything about his injury right now? Is this anything?
No, I heard he had an
significant?
illness, but I also saw a lower body, so I saw the both. It was like a
Maybe he
illness
just got the
slash
shits.
lower body. Maybe
And
right?
Lower
Yeah.
body illness has to be the shit.
Exactly. It
You
could
would
be.
think.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was kind of disappointed. Like, I feel bad with Schmid. He's in Utica. He's been having a rough time too.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I mean, it's kind of a bummer. I'm not saying that he can't pull himself together, but there's a trend going on with him.
I don't think Schmid's the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. I think
He's
that
Schmid the
I
bed,
think
as
he's had
Dan said this one episode.
yeah. I mean,
It's
what do
not
you
been a
think?
good year for him.
Is this something that he can bounce back from, Dan? Is this can
Well,
goalies-
anything's possible, but the fact that he hasn't played well in Utica is troublesome because, he really did start out much better position. You watched his confidence erode away pretty early on in the season.
Yeah.
And by the time they finally let him, send back down, he really had no confidence left. You could just see that, him coming out there and just waiting for the hook. And I don't think he's recovered, looking at his. So is it something he's going to get his head together and come out stronger this season or maybe more likely next season? It's possible, like these guys, they do all kinds of stuff. They work with sports psychologists and stuff. And I think physically it's not a question. It's, it's that game's all mental for a guy like him. And so it's possible, but nothing I'm going to hang my hat on. Last year I was like, all right, let's see where this guy goes. Let's keep him in the system.
No doubt.
Now he's a piece that's very easy to move on from if you have to. It's just an opportunity he got, and then it wasn't seized by him. You could blame the team too, the way they used him, but it doesn't matter. In the end, it's it's time.
Quick little update. Seattle took a bench minor for too many men, and the Devils are back on their second power play of the game. 6:45 left in the first, 0-0.
I need 4 goals, man. They need to start scoring here.
Offensive zone face-off, and nice save. Who's that in net? Is that the cord? Yeah.
The cord, yeah.
All right. He was just
Jody.
that's what you need, right? Like the goalie that came in
There
and
it is.
just gave Seattle. We scored.
Yep.
All right,
I'm
let's
behind,
see.
but I'm looking
What do I
forward
got
to it.
here? Yeah,
Holy.
me too. I got. All right, so back to Toffoli from the point. He shoots and it's in. Just a power play goal. Looks like Brat and Jack.
Couldn't see the third. Or
Yeah,
second
I think it
assist,
was Jack brought it in. I
Jack
think he
brought it
flipped
in.
it around the net to Brat. He got the bumper to Toffoli, and Toffoli
That's it.
scored.
That is
So,
a quick
there's
power
our first
play goal.
Nice. Devils are on the board, and they scored first. That doesn't happen.
I don't know that
right?
that's been working for them anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got all happy with Calgary, right?
Looks like it went off the skate of a defender and kind
Yep,
of took
sure
a
did.
slightly off angle.
Bounced on the cord.
Yep.
And I tell you, Toffoli may be a guy we move. I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago because I'm sure there's a lot of teams who are wanting to, you want to bring him in if you're going to make a run right now.
I get why you want him because he looks hot this year. He looks like he's got his shit together, and I don't know that they
won a
want
cup
to
before
live
with
without
LA.
Extend Tyler Toffoli. Tom Fitzgerald needs to extend him. I am so dead set against moving him.
Yeah, that's a seller's move. If you're gonna,
He's a guy that when you win a cup, he's that guy on that roster. Like we've seen when the Devils have won cups, that name that stands out that just made such a big difference. It's a key player, and he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
he's like an Arnott or a Friesen.
Yeah,
Right.
But other teams are thinking this too, though. They're like, hey,
other teams don't fucking have them. We do.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a
No, if
difference.
we have
He's
any
ours.
designs on doing anything this season, we're not going to let him go.
No, Toffoli's got to be a Devil, and I think that you have to extend him. You got to give him a couple of years. It's just what he's done this year. He's fit in seamlessly, and we talked about it. The guys like Palat and Toffoli, they're integral in a good long run. Lazar, those veterans that have been there and done it, and Toffoli, he's got a cup, and that's experience that you can't trade for. You can't, that this is what he's going to bring postseason is huge. Let's hope he's there this year. Well, the team is, in the postseason. But I would be very disappointed if they move Tyler Toffoli.
I think he's the perfect 2 to 3 year extended guy.
Yep.
You get him while he's getting a little bit older, and then you got a couple other young guys still seasoning, cooking. So maybe one more year of a guy in the AHL. Then he comes up in year 2, and he's your fourth line guy for a little while. Getting spot time up a little higher. Next thing you know, Toffoli's on his last year, and that kid's ready to bloom. So I think we got plenty of room to keep him. With all the stuff we can do in the bottom 6, I think we got plenty of room to keep him.
I will say this, though. I do not think Holtz is going to be with this team past the trade
He'll
deadline.
be a guy who gets moved. If we make a big move, if we get a Markstrom or anything big defensive-wise, he's
gonna
a
be
guy
Holtz.
who's gone. Yeah.
Holtz is going to be the only forward I think that'll get moved as far as guys on the team right now. I mean, maybe there'll be a defenseman, Hataka, possibly a Siegenthaler if he's healthy. Who knows what's happening with that? But I just think that it's Holtz. I just think that for whatever reason, management and coaching staff just doesn't believe in him. They don't feel like
I hate to say this, but there are teams that need Holtz more than the Devils do, and that's it's not like we're dealing. Oh my God, they're going to take Holtz from us. We're dealing from a position of strength, and we can literally afford to let him go. I don't want him to go. I think long term this is going to be a hell of a hockey player, but
Could be
I
good
get
for Holtz.
why he's good in a package. And it could be very good for Holtz. Yeah,
I think a guy like Holtz would flourish in Calgary. He really would.
100%.
I mean, playing with that young team, back with Sharon Govich, playing with him, and Calgary.
And Calgary's they're on a quick rebuild. They're not going to be dwindling down low. Like they're already a good team.
They're doing it on the fly.
Yeah,
and I'm also like, I'm fine with, like I said, there's only a handful of guys that I wouldn't move because I just believe that you have to trust your general manager to make a right move. And if that's, moving a guy that you might say, why are we doing this? This guy's got, Mercer or somebody, but in the long run, let's go back to football real quick, right? Who said, everybody said that when Kansas City moved Tyreek Hill, they were never going to win. They just got rid of the best wide receiver in the league, and they went and they picked up, because of that move, they were able to get Trent McDuffie, who I think is the best slot corner in the league right now, and Pacheco for one dude. Oh, and then they won 2 Super Bowls with getting rid of him. So if you're going to make your team better, one player is not going to change that much. I mean, not somebody like Alex Holtz, I'm just saying.
The two guys I would not be shocked besides, I mean, Toffoli, I can see it for a team to grab him that's in a playoff, like a major playoff run. But the two guys I would think would be, and I hate to say Mercer, but Holtz and Mercer are the two guys that I think everyone who knocks on that door for Tom Fitzgerald is going to ask about those two guys.
Cadillac trivia question. Hang on. Tomas Tatar is one of 3 players in Devils history to finish the season with a plus rating of at least plus 40. Who are the other 2? Sorry, just wanted to see if you guys know.
Elias?
Plus 40 or better. Well, we won't know until the second period. So you're going to say Elias and Stevens?
For Shea, I'm going to say, just for the hell of it.
I'm definitely going Stevens.
Wasn't like Ryan Graves up there last year?
What?
Am I wrong? Like, I know we had guys that were plus, I think Ryan Graves was a
Coleman, maybe.
Wow. I didn't realize he was that high. That's
something
awesome.
better. I'm sorry, Tony. What were you saying?
What was I saying? That is a good question.
I don't know. I wanted to throw it out there.
to you, Chris.
What I was saying was a team that's going to be knocking on the Devil's door is going to ask for either Holtz or Mercer. I'm thinking that's the two that that's the 2 players that everyone's going to want because, Mercer may be having a little bit of and Mercer's been good. He's actually, got his game together, but these are the 2 guys that I think if you're looking for some youth, some decent players, these are the guys that everybody's going to be asking for.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they'll be I don't think that they would really bat an eye with moving Holtz, but I do think that Mercer, it's got to be for the right guy. You're not moving him for just anybody.
Or Allen or
right.
And
No, he's not in that deal.
Sometimes it's hard. You see people go, you don't want to go. Like I still to this day don't know why like the A line was broken up, right? But then Lou just brought us another cup by doing it. So who am I to sit here and say like,
right.
We got rid of 2 very popular players that helped win a cup, and boom, we just got another one. So Jeff Friesen was so huge in that 2003, and you just never know. But you got to give to get, that's for sure.
And most Devil fans would not have made that move.
Of course not.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Why would you? Coming off the 2 years that they had together, the way they were pushing it.
But
I was thinking the other night watching
seamlessly.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was watching the Calgary game. Like we talked, I think, a couple episodes about Blake Coleman, and still, man, that guy still is a hell of a player. I mean, he is. He's someone that can change the chemistry. Now when I say chemistry, I actually mean the chemistry. He's a guy that can change some chemistry on that team. Like something about Coleman's personality that I used to love, and I know why we got rid of him, and it worked out for him. But
the problem with a guy like with this team right now is forward depth. Like where do you put a guy like Blake Coleman? Like I know he would help any team, but do you give up assets for a guy that you really don't know? Like I feel like sometimes Lindy Ruff doesn't know what he's doing with the lineup he has, and then we're going to add other players to it. I don't know.
Well, then you got to start adding moving players that we're not even talking about.
Right,
That
then
you wouldn't
you
want
really
to, like
pare
Lazar
down.
or somebody.
Right.
Like you got to move somebody, But
I mean, Lazar and Blake Coleman. I mean, they play very similar styles, except Blake Coleman is a finisher and Lazar is not. And so yeah, moving a guy like Curtis Lazar for Blake Coleman, I do in a heartbeat. As much as I love
I'm
Curtis
sure it
Lazar,
will be 1-for-1, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if it was a 1-for-1 deal, we stole him. But yeah, I do. But again, you're right. Like that's why I think they're going to focus on the defense and they're going to focus on goaltending, and they're going to try and But I think Tom Fitzgerald, before he really does commit to making a deal, I think he really does just want to see this team put something together. Just show me that
a little bit of a streak or something.
Yeah, and look, this week, I mean, if you go, okay, we were 1-1-1 last week, right? So they come out. Let's say that my prediction comes true. We go 4-0 this week. 5-1-1 over your last 7 games. That's something. That's something. Now you're picking up some points. Now Tom Fitzgerald maybe feels a little bit more confident, saying, "All right, let me go out and get this guy. All right, let me go get these guys. Let me help these boys, and maybe we can put something together." So, that's just me.
Yeah, as much as I kind of feel like we've paid our dues when it comes to injuries, there's also like that looming feeling of, dude, you are going to get hit with this all season long, and you go big for this year. Like it hasn't stopped. Vanacek's out. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't really stopped. So I don't know. Maybe he's a little gun shy there. I don't think I would make my decisions, but if it was, you get like it's bad mojo. You just start feeling like, man, we can't get out of our own way this year, no matter what moves we make.
You're right, and that's the worst thing that you want to get to with this team. Like Jack goes down again for another 8 or 9 games. Forget it. There goes your playoff hopes. And then, like you said, you go and make a move, and you get a couple of guys. Maybe you get a Hannafin who's just a rental for this year, and then you're getting nowhere with him. Bobby's smiling, so something's about to happen. No, okay,
it's close. It's close.
Let's see. Yep, there's Holla, and nice save by DeCord. But
bizarre that my Pennsylvania feed is in head of the New Jersey feed. Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah.
What's crazier is that like Dan can't even get MSG, and he lives in New Jersey.
I got to wait for somebody to come back from vacation with Verizon. That's it's going to come down to.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Stadium Series is going to be such a huge game. And looking at this, I was bitching like, why are we playing the Flyers? We should be playing the Rangers. No, that's the game, man. That is going to be such a huge game. Man, I wish now, like, because of the importance of this game, does anyone else feel like can we move it back inside? I don't know if I want an outdoor game. They were supposed to get snow. Like, I don't know if I want that right now. Like, not with the big 4-point game like that. Like, let's just move it back to the Rock.
I don't want the pretty optics with our fragile players.
My God, I know, right? Oh, Nico's out for 3 weeks because he has cold toes. I don't know. But, yeah, I feel like it's just too much of an important game to have out there. I don't want it.
Be great points, especially if you pull those points that you were saying, Chris. You win these games. Well, we're 8 points behind Philly, I think, is it?
We're 8 points behind Philly.
Yeah, I mean, this would be you get 2 there, and then
with
if you
3 games,
3 games in hand.
Yeah.
So
there's 6. So that game Saturday is the other 2 right there. You make up those games in hand. You win that game Saturday. You take that 3rd spot. To me, you can always maybe get a wild card. You got Detroit, you got Toronto, you got a couple of teams that are fighting for that. But the easiest path is 3rd in the Metro. That's the path you want to go. You only have to.
It's the biggest game of the year for sure. It's the most must win if you're serious about making playoffs.
And Bobby's guaranteed point. I definitely think it's going to be a nasty game. Philly, Jersey, on the big, the big time 8:00 game, Stadium Series. I definitely there's going to be probably 3 or 4 fights. I wouldn't be surprised in the first period if we see 2.
And that's why I think that Jack's going to have a game. I think that the lights are going to be on. They're going to be bright. And I think Jack Hughes is going to be like, you know what? I've been back now for a week, and I really haven't done a whole lot. I'm going to show off tonight. And that's what I think is going to happen. Brendan Smith should be back in the lineup. So, probably.
Yeah, he was skating today.
So, that's well timed. We need him in a game against the Flyers, definitely.
Yeah. So it's the end of the first. Devils are up 1-0 over Seattle. Is there anything that you guys want to discuss anymore, or you guys want to go back? We'll watch the game, and we'll come back on. Let's see. This week, what do you guys want to do for a schedule? Let's do our logistical planning on the air right now.
Okay, sure.
So we got a game tomorrow, and then we have Wednesday. I work late Wednesday. I'm home early on Thursday, and then I'm working late the rest of the week. Now, actually, I'm not. I'm home early on Sunday. So what I was thinking was, because it's an 8 o'clock start on Saturday, how do you guys feel about maybe doing early Sunday instead of Saturday night? Like maybe like around 2 o'clock our time, 3 o'clock our time.
I may have something afternoon family thing around 3. Especially if we could push it up a little bit to like 1:30, I might be able to do that. I got to check it out.
All right, would that work for you guys?
I got no football, so I'm good.
Yeah,
Honestly, just have to check the schedule and get back to you. It doesn't seem like it's a problem.
All right, so maybe we'll do that. Then we'll go early on Sunday. We'll talk about the Stadium Series, and then maybe we'll go, Wednesday or Thursday. We'll figure out what other day, but we'll get back to the three nights a week.
And me and Chris are also talking about going live on the Instagram page, because I've been doing this on my other podcast, so we're going to give it a try. So, we've been doing the live streams, so we kind of interact for a little bit. But we're going to try that possibly tomorrow. So anybody who's listening,
I got to figure out how that works. Awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna try. I figured it out kind of. So I think we're gonna try to pull that off. So anybody who follows us on Instagram, which I definitely need to be hitting that up a little bit more, because I know the Instagram, I don't think we've been too up to date on that. But yeah, we'll give that a try. We've been discussing that this last 2 weeks.
You figured it out, kinda. So yeah, I gotta follow you guys. I want to see how that shit show goes.
I just started doing it, man. It's
come on. What are you talking about? It's your show. Come on. So maybe if everyone's available,
we can all come on. If everybody has it, you just have to have an Instagram. We can pop on there. Anybody who wants to ask us questions can pop on there. It's a whole interactive.
Do a half hour or so. Anybody can pop in and wants to hang out with us.
Now, if I log on from my MySpace account, will that work?
Hey, you have a MySpace. Can you get on your MySpace account?
I don't know.
You're going to get the 1982 roster.
Speaking of that, Bobby, I've had my wife, and my wife's like 10 years younger than me. I've had her watch these old movies. We watched Young Guns tonight. She's not impressed with it. I love it. I think
what a good movie.
Yeah. I had her watch Stand By Me. Yeah, what a killer movie. And she watched Stand By Me the night before, so I have her on this
fantastic movie.
Dude, that movie I still get depressed, even though I know what's going to happen at the end with Phoenix getting stabbed, and and it's like. Yeah, great. Man.
Finish it.
Great. River Phoenix.
Well, Chris, his character, Chris. Yeah, remember that? She's sitting in the car reading.
I remember.
Yeah, total bummer. My wife was like, she even said, "That's a good movie," because I showed her Goonies. She wasn't impressed. It's I don't know how you don't be impressed with Goonies, but
it came out at the right time for our age. I think if I tried to watch it now for the first time, it would probably.
I fucking love Lost Boys. I showed it to her. She watches newer horror movies, so she was not like. I was like,
I'll tell you. I think Goonies came out in like 85 around there, right? So I was like 9 or 10, and we used to have the old Lowe's movie theater, Dover theater, that had the two movies in it. They were playing Back to the Future. Well, this was before that when they were the actual
it was
nice
the theater for a while.
Yeah. And they had Back to the Future and Goonies playing. And I remember that I think like my family or my sister and I were going to see Back to the Future, and it was sold out. So she's like, all right, let's go see Goonies. And I was like, I didn't see any trailers for it. I didn't want to see it. I was like, what the hell is this stupid movie? Oh my God, dude. I think saw it 6 times in the movie theaters back then when I was like 10.
That was an awesome movie to catch when you were a kid. It was the best.
Corey Feldman was like the dude. He's nuts now. I don't know if you guys have kept in touch with Corey Feldman. He has like some
he hasn't returned my calls.
He does. Well, he thinks he's Michael Jackson now. He does these live performances. It's absolutely anybody who hasn't kept up with him, YouTube Corey Feldman to see what he's up to now. It's absolutely insane. But
I saw him kind of like losing his shit on stage, yelling at people. The band he was with
back then. The Burbs. He was great on the Burbs.
That might be news for Lithuania, but I think most people in America got the message on that.
No, he's still performing. This guy is still.
Wait till you get David Hasselhoff over there. It's going to be great.
That's Germany, man. He's like the Germany Michael Jackson.
The Uncle Puckers are big in Germany, which is so freaking odd to me that we are like ranked in the German iTunes hockey podcast. Like
because they have a word for what we do. It's called Schadenfreude.
Hey, you just got the title of the podcast.
Exactly.
Mom. You tell me if you're in a Shazza movie, right? Sure, hon. What the hell is a rim job? Well, that's when somebody throws their legs over your head and licks the inside of your asshole.
The cat's being a dildo, Mom. I know a special kitty who's sleeping with Mommy tonight.
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up, and we'll get back to watching this Seattle game. Hopefully the Devils can keep it going. They're up 1-0. that would be a great start to the week. So we're going to do our Instagram Live. We're going to throw it up on X a couple of minutes beforehand, let everybody know if they want to come on, chat with us. They probably won't. Probably just be me and Tony, but that's
how
fine.
it goes sometimes.
That's all right. This is what we do. Wherever you're listening to
Did we
us.
say Sunday too, Chris? We're doing Sunday?
We're going to do Sunday.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do Sunday, and we'll talk. Because, I mean, the Stadium Series game ends after all the festivities and bull. It's probably not going to end until like 11. I don't want to come on and do a podcast that
Yeah.
late. Unless it's a hell of a win and we're all fired up and we want to talk about it, that's fine. But for the most part, I think we'll go for Sunday. So, digest it a little bit and then we can talk about it in depth. So we'll go from there. So, wherever you're listening to us, a 5-star review, a positive comment goes a long way to help us promote the Uncle Puckers. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. For Dan, Bobby, and Tony, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. Hopefully this whole thing gets recorded properly and it'll be posted soon. So we'll see you when we see you.
Puck is out.
Bye-bye.
Dan might be having to do his magic again.
That's okay. We could do that. Let me know and I'll do it.
It's over, Johnny.